Hello and welcome to an exciting TinkerCAD tutorial. Today, you're going to be learning how to make your name in TinkerCAD. Now, you might be thinking that, well, okay, that's pretty easy. There's just like this text tool over here, and then I can just change it to like whatever name I want. Like, let's say my name is like Max Danger. That would be the coolest name ever. Um, but now I'm done. There. Okay. I did it. Wrong. You can't do it that way. You're not allowed to use this tool. So you might be thinking, well, then how the heck do you do it? Uh, how would I? Is there any more shapes? Oh, there's literally one more shape there. Nope, that's not going to help me. There's no other shape that I could use that gets me that letter. Like if I want like an L, or an N, how the heck am I going to do that? Like these aren't so you could go and like find some advanced like structure or something that's already been made, but how do they even go about making those advanced things? There must be something that they're doing, right? That we need to learn about to make those complex shapes. And that's really the purpose of this, is to learn how to use the tools to make something complicated. Now, I'm going to show you how to go about making a few letters, but there's an important principle you need to learn, and that's math. So, now we're going to do some math. I know that this is probably the most exciting thing that you'd ever thought you'd be watching is a math video when it's supposed to be a Tinkercad video, but you're going to need to know some math. So first, let's do, I know this is hard, but I need you to tell me if you can guess the answer to this. So we're going to do 1 on the left plus, and we're going to do another 1. Okay? I know that this is a little bit tricky, but yeah, that's probably yes. You're right. It's 2. Now, what if I did like 1 plus 2? Okay. Well, okay. Well, you might be thinking he's really getting hard here, but no. Yeah. Okay. It's 2. No, it's 3. Okay. So good. Are you with me so far? Um, Now, what if I did? Okay, I know this is really hard, but what if I took this and moved it? So if I did 2 on the left and plus 1. Okay, now is that going to be 2 or 3 or something else? Let's see. So that's going to be 3. You're right. It's 3. So we got 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 1 is also 3. Okay. So that's important. So the question is, in adding, does it matter which direction or which order the numbers are on? I don't. It seems like it doesn't, right? I can move these around. What if I did this though? So what if I did 1 minus 2? Okay. Well, that is going to be, well, -1, right? But if I did 2 minus 1, so if I move these around and do 2 minus 1, so let's try that. Get rid of, and I know that MS Paint is like, I did this on purpose because it's so exciting. Let's change this, and let's change this. Now what if I do 2, oh, let's use the brush, 2 minus 1. Well, that's +1. So that's interesting. So what we are learning here is that adding, the order doesn't matter, but subtracting, it does. Well, why is that? How does that matter to anything? Well, that's because in Tinkercad, you can add and subtract with 3D objects. So I can take this box, and I'm going to make it into my bottom of my L, okay, like this. And then I'm going to take another box, I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to join them together. How do I do that? Well, I take these together, box select like this, and then press this one, union group. Not this one, okay, not bundle group, union group, okay? Now look, they are one object. If I want to edit them, I can now edit them as one object. I can shrink that down and make it look like my L. That's nice. Now, if I did the same thing, though, following the rules of math, okay, if I take this, and what's the equivalent in this for subtracting? Well, they have this other thing called a whole. So if I take this, I'm going to do the same thing, okay? And now one of them is a whole, one of them is not a whole, okay? I select these, I group them together. That cut it off. And if I do the same, if I invert this, so I make this one be solid, make this one be a whole, and I do this, now cut it that way. So the order matters. Whichever thing is the subtractor, one of these is subtracting from the other. But when I add, it doesn't really matter. I can add a bunch of things together, it won't make a difference. So I want you to remember that it's basically what you're doing to do this complicated stuff, all these advanced things that people have made on TinkerCAD, it's all math. It's all just adding and subtracting objects. So what are we going to do? How do we do an A? Well, to do an A, here's my favorite way to do an A. I take a triangle, I take the, what's it called, like a roof? They call it a roof. I bring this in, rotate it, and stretch it out, okay? Stretch it out nice. There we go. And try to make them like the same height. Always check the side. So I'm right-clicking, spinning this around so I can check the side angle to make sure that all my letters are the same. And making sure it's about the same height too. Okay? Same depth down, same height this way. Then what I'm going to do is I need to use the power of math, and specifically subtraction. When I was in elementary school, I loved adding and I hated subtracting because I didn't get it. I was like, it was hard. I always wanted. I did the subtracting questions at the end. I don't know how you felt about subtracting. Maybe you still don't like subtracting, but in TinkerCAD, I love subtracting because it's so fun to just cut objects. So I'm going to take this object. Now, I don't want to add them. See, if I take this and I group them together like this, I'm taking this and I group them. Boom. And I group. Oh, wrong type of group. If I take this, I do this. Well, now it's added together. That's not what we want. You might be thinking, okay, which one should be the whole? Well, this one is going to be the whole. Okay, I turn it to whole by clicking here. Then, now, let's just shift it just a bit. Select, and whoa! Okay, now I just made like the A part. How did I, what? Oh, let's ungroup that. And we can see what it did. It was this cutting into this, right? So select this again. Boom. Now, how do I do the triangle there? Well, make another roof. Get another roof. Put that roof on top of that roof. Kind of like we're making a house or something. Then this is going to go like this. And then, if I press Alt, grab this, it stretches both sides at the same time. Little trick. Nice to know. Press Alt, stretch these. And then bring that down even more, like that. And whole, right, because we want this to be the cutting tool. Then I group. Wow, look at that A. That's awesome. And I would just continue to do that. Now, with an N, there's a few different ways I can make an N. One way I can do with subtracting. I can start by just having a big box. And then I take my right angle triangle, and I'm going to have to turn it. So it starts flat, and then what I have to do is I turn it like this. And then I can cut. Now I have to do it the other way, or else it's going to be backwards N. Like that. I can cut it like that. Or, no, I'm getting confused now. Like that. Yes. That makes more sense. Do-do-do-do-do. And do-do-do-do-do. There. And then let's make it just a little bit bigger. Like that. And make it a hole. And I'm going to take this, Control-C, Control-V, copied, bring this around, rotate this on this axis, 90. And now I'm subtracting. So think of this is like 3 minus 1 minus 1. kind of. If you think about like the math analogy, I'm taking a large number and subtracting it by two smaller numbers. Now, grouping them, boom! Look at that. It's crazy how that works, right? Now all I have to do is I can just ungroup it, right? I can ungroup this, and then I can see how it all came about. I can do the same thing here. Ungroup, ungroup. All these letters have been made in different ways. Now this one is two boxes added together. This one is a triangle with two other shapes, a hexagon and a triangle cutting. And this is a rectangle with two triangles, right? So that is, and then I select that group, select that group, select that group. And then I should, if you do this correctly, you should be able to give a different color to each letter. So red, green, and gray. I have three different colors because they're three separate objects, okay? And I've used adding and subtracting. This is adding, this is subtracting. And your task, try to make your whole name. And if you really want a challenge, make both your first and last name, okay? Now, the last thing is, when you want to show off the work, you're going to want to show me one version that is the full thing. So let's finish this off. I got my last letter to do here. Now I'm going to do this one using adding just to demonstrate how I would do it. So Control C, Control V, and then I'm going to just stretch these out a little bit. Now, what some people would do, I've seen this before, is they'll just take this and then they just rotate it like that. I find that sometimes what happens though is you end up with like these edges that aren't like as clean. See, it's like hard to line it up. Now if you're finding that it's really hard and you want to get it more precise, you can actually go down here and change your snapping settings. So if I take this to like 0.1, you'll find it's a lot easier to just line things up. So take that, there. And then this one, not bad. I can be a bit more precise now, right? There. And then, let's group those. Bam. Not bad. I don't like that edge, though. See how there's like a little edge in there? To get that cleaner, I would recommend using the subtracting technique. And you know what you can do, if you're really kind of lazy, is like, if you have an N and a Z, like I do, I can go Control C, Control V, and then watch how I make my Z. Look. Oh, wow. There's my Z. Easy peasy, right? Now I've just made it. It's just the same twice. You know what I mean? Then I just take this and green. No, can't be. It has to be a different color. Let's do there. Okay. Well, it's similar to this one though. Let's do there. Now it's obvious. Okay. Now what you have to do is you make sure you take, if you want to share this, you want to make this beautiful thing into a design that you share, well, what you can do is we can turn off the grid, which I think is here, show grid. Boop. Close. Now we just got a nice backdrop, and then we press send to, and then we can download this. Download. It's going to download it. And then you do one more where you ungroup it. And then you press send to again, download that. And then make sure you share both of those screenshots so that it's easy to see how you made it. Not just the final result, but how it came about. Okay? And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.